Hey guys, and welcome to the J and K Show. We're here to recap Monday Night Football. What an exciting big head game there was between Ravens and Lions. After that, we're going to do our power rankings after 3 weeks. Who are the top teams in the league and who are the bottom? Yes, we will be doing a bottom five. That way we can talk crap about the bad teams in the league. What do you say to that, Jay?
Yeah. Hey, there has to be a bottom. There always has to be a
That is
bottom.
true. And in this case, you would rather be a top than a bottom.
You would rather be a top than a bottom, yes.
All right, let's
But
get right into it,
sometimes,
Jay.
sometimes, just sometimes bottoms do want to be there.
That's true. They got to earn the top, you know.
That's right.
All right, so Monday Night Football, bud. We missed a little bit of the beginning shooting our show last night, but we
Mhm.
jumped right into it. What did you see in the game last night?
A good back and forth.
Yeah,
It was haymaker after haymaker. The scoring was pretty even all the way through until the fourth quarter. Again, a costly Derrick Henry fumble. It's not like him.
hmm.
But I think all three games now he's got a fumble,
Should he
or at
go
least
back to
the
the?
first and last night.
Should he go back
But
to the turd in the back from his hair? Is that possibly the problem?
I don't know. Yeah,
He's
that
he's
may have
always
been bringing him some luck.
he's always been able to clinch the ball when he had his turd popping
Yeah,
out. I don't know if there was a correlation there.
yeah. When his helmet was taking a shit, he seemed to be running a lot better and not fumbling as much anyway.
For
But
real. Yeah.
definitely two costly fumbles from him this year. You got the fumble that lets Buffalo back in, and then last
Three.
night the fumble that lets Detroit go down here and get another score. So
He has three fumbles this year
yeah,
in
that
three
is not
games.
like him at all.
Two in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so he may want to do a couple more drills this week, and just do some forearm work.
He
Tuck
needs
at.
to call Tiki Barber. He needs to call Eddie
Uh,
George.
the only thing he needs
Um,
to call Tiki Barber is a cab. Get Tiki Barber out of here.
He's
He
gonna
doesn't
get
matter.
an opportunity on that movie. Was that Varsity or no, the program or something where they like
Mm,
or no, is Remember the Titans where they're playing around with Petey and
mm.
they keep knocking the ball around on him. You know, he's fumbling everywhere. Like every
Yeah,
football movie has that guy
yeah,
that keeps fumbling it. And by God, Derrick
yep.
Henry, you do not want to be that guy.
Nah, poor Petey, dude. He didn't deserve it.
Petey.
He's good people's.
Yeah.
But no, what I saw again last night, as much as people want to talk about how good the Ravens defense is always every single year, man, Montgomery and Gibbs ran all over those guys last night. They couldn't stop anything. Um, just I didn't see David Montgomery coming out and getting 130 plus yards. I didn't see it, and
Yeah.
them getting getting as many yards as they got total. That was insane. Over 400 yards against the Ravens D. When does that ever happen?
Hmm. I don't know what I'm starting to think that they tweaked their defense to try to get a little faster and they don't stop the run very well. And I was looking at their defense and I wrote a little note on here. Is the Ravens safety play elite? Because I think that could be part of the problem. Is their best secondary player is a somewhat injured Marlon Humphrey, and you could see every time something bad was happening, he was the one chasing and trying to stop it from happening. And I just look at it and I go, they don't have Ed Reeds, they don't have Weddles, they don't have these big time safeties or any really a guy named Starks. Like I don't he misses that tackle. He comes right up on Montgomery, he comes right into the hole and he's like almost surprised like, "Oh crap, he just cut on me a little." And totally whiffs, misses it completely. I'm like safeties back in the day, Baltimore safeties, they don't miss that tackle. So I feel like its safety play is a big factor. They don't have them.
Yeah, and their D line's getting pushed around too.
Mhm.
Nobody's ever been able to do that to those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
So definitely some, and it's really weird to think, but maybe it's getting close to close the book on John Harbaugh. Because as good as he's been and as solid
Mm,
as he's been, you got to look at it. And I know it's only week 3, into a
right.
season, and nobody wants to be too quick to the draw here. But if you don't see anything improve in the next couple of weeks, they're going to start. The heads are going to start talking. I'm not, because I can't do what he's done. So I have a lot of respect for the guy. Plus, he's my favorite coach's brother. So I mean, if your last name's Harbaugh, I like you, but he's been there forever, it seems.
Hmm.
So from what he's done, his past, his record speaks for itself. He's a damn good coach. And if he were to get let go, this year or next year, if he's losing the locker room, if he's losing the team, then he'll be out of work for about 10 minutes, and then
Yeah.
somebody will scoop him up. I mean, he's going to go somewhere else unless he just decides he's done for a minute and do the old Sean Payton. But he's
Yeah.
great. He's a great coach, but I mean, you cannot coach forever. So I don't. I think it's still a little bit too early to talk about that. But there's going
Yeah.
to be some places, that are going to be like, "Well, is John Harbaugh ready to go?" So why not us too?
Something I noticed the way they rank, they are the number one scoring offense in the NFL,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's crazy.
they're like the third worst defense or something.
Yeah,
And a
it's
team that mirrors
insane.
them defensively, who also is not good at offense though, is like the Houston Texans. So if
Yeah,
you compare the teams in that way and you go, hey, this team is really good at defense and bad at offense, and you look at where they're at, that it feels like they're both doing poorly, but the way you would talk about them are very different, I think, still. There's this belief in Baltimore and how they could be this juggernaut, and they're so good, and it's like, why do you feel so strongly because they're the top offense when Houston's one of the worst offenses, but they actually have sixth best scoring defense? And it's like we wouldn't talk about Houston the same way. So it's kind of odd, like how we would differ between the two and treat them like they're so different when they're just complete opposite sides of the ball. They're good at one thing. They're
yeah,
just good at one thing.
yeah. Baltimore is normally one of those teams where it's like, they're going to have a top 10 offense, top 10 defense, top 5 if special teams.
Hmm.
So they're really falling back. Their offense is still up there with the best of them. I don't care if you're
Yeah,
averaging 37 points a game,
one.
then you're doing something right there. But a thing that kind of stuck out to me from last night, even though he did have a fumble, and it was a bad time fumble, but Derrick Henry only had 12 carries,
And you were never out
and
of the
it's
game. You were never out of
you're
the game. So
yeah. So, but what impressed me really was just before halftime when Detroit stopped them at the goal line, on all
mhm.
4 downs.
Fourth and
It
goal.
was like,
Yeah.
okay, you try to run it 3 times with Henry, yeah, you don't get in, but wow,
Yeah.
what a stand by Detroit. That stuck out more than like, oh my God, Baltimore is averaging all these points, and then but Detroit's able to just shut them down and not let them get in there. That was impressive to me.
Hmm. And the fourth down play was really just odd looking. It was as if they
Yeah.
thought something was going to definitely open up, and when it didn't, they had no idea. And the same thing
Hmm.
goes for the Henry pass. How many times he's been used to going for that little jump pass, and he's like, "Well, what do I do if it's not there?"
Yeah, yeah. People have seen it a few times now, so it's going to be in the back of their minds.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Henry will jump up and pass the ball, so just be aware of it. And they
hmm,
were,
yeah.
they did pretty good.
And by God, he still tried it.
He still tried.
He
By
lofted the
bless his
ball
heart.
up, and I was like, "Wow, he wants an interception because maybe he hasn't
Hmm.
had one. And he just wants to know what it feels like." But he
Yeah,
doesn't like
yeah,
those fumbles very much. His reaction on the
yeah,
sideline was very hot. He got a lot of memes and
yeah,
people tweeting about it.
yeah. I can't wait to throw my first pick. Yeah, it's gonna be so exciting. Poor guy. He'll get there, I'm sure. Though, just keep chucking it, King.
Yeah, I thought something the Ravens maybe they're missing their other tight end that they like. I noticed they went to Kohler a
Oh,
lot.
Isaiah Likely. Yeah.
Likely. They went to Kohler a lot, and so they went down on the 21-point drive. They seemed like they went to tight ends the whole way down. And I'm like, they would probably like to run a double tight end. And if Kohler's any good, they might even like to run a three tight end and just go goal line all the way down. That's the
Yeah. Why
way they
not?
like to play. They like to be unorthodox. But
Hmm.
I think that something that they don't do as well as Detroit is their receivers don't block.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit's receivers block.
Yeah,
Amon
they're
Ross,
damn
St.
good.
Brown blocks. The guys get in
Yeah,
the face. They will actually bring him in as a fullback on a motion and just turn and block.
yeah.
And
How insane was that though?
I don't feel like the Ravens receivers are as interested. And part of that could be they just don't get the ball as much. They could
Yeah,
just not be invested because the identity of the team isn't very receiver friendly. And they're really just not engaged. They're not in the game the way other teams feel like the connectivity. I think that they feel a little out of the rhythm and they don't block like the others. And that
yeah. They're
matters because
not
then
involved.
they're just they're just not involved. And what was it? The 4th and 2 to Amon Ra. That was a pretty big dagger in the game because you thought, wow, if Detroit goes for this and they don't get it, then Baltimore is in great position. And they just float that ball right up to Amon Ra. And of
Yep.
course, who's chasing him? Marlon Humphrey.
Marlon
Like,
Humphrey.
why is he the only guy? He can't play corner and safety. Like, I just feel
Yeah,
like they're literally missing some playmaker on defense that they would normally have.
yeah. Well, he was good. They were going to get the first down anyway because he held him, but
True.
it was still a nice little touch pass from Goff. And again, Dan Campbell, the nads on that dude. A lot of people want to say he's a just a blue collar idiot, sometimes, but that dude is deceptively smart,
Yeah.
and he picks. It seems like he picks the right times to do it, and it works out more often than it doesn't. I've heard on the way home today, I heard him call him Dan Gamble. I had to chuckle at it a little bit. It's like, how
Where's
has
that been
nobody?
for 2 years?
How have I not figured that out yet?
That is something that
But
old Jay would have figured out a while ago.
yeah, I'm stem developing. I am in early onset dementia. So it's fading and fading fast.
Let's see. Bright spot for Derrick Henry. The block on your boy Aiden Hutchinson was so good because he was out of
Yeah,
position and he just launched himself anyway and checked him enough to get that touchdown for Lamar to Bateman.
yeah,
I was like, man, he
yeah,
was missing that block, but he still made it.
yeah. Well, Aiden won the game, I guess.
Oh, okay. I mean, hey, 7 sacks from the
Yeah,
Lions.
yeah.
And you know how
Seven
many sacks they
sacks,
had on
and
Goff?
they had none on Goff.
0.
Zero.
That's crazy.
I can see, Lamar will take a sack or two here and there because he's scrambling and
Yeah.
he slips or he just knows there's nothing going on, so he just goes down. But
How many
to not get
times?
one sack on Goff and to allow Lamar to get sacked seven,
Right. In a close
ouch.
game. So, like, how
Yeah.
much of those plays mattered late in the game? How many
Hmm.
times did Lamar Jackson drop back and then just drop back a little more and then a little more? Like, well, shoot.
Yeah.
And he's looking, and it's the way they converged on him. There was no lane. He tried his damnedest to find a lane to squirt through there, and a couple times he did. But
Hmm.
it's like, how do I get around all these guys? It was almost like, oh, this is new. Like
Yeah.
he
It's
was
that.
dialing up something for the first time. Like, whoa, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think he
That
needs to cut his hair.
patented 15-step drop from Lamar. But
Yeah.
you have how many times have you seen him do that and then
Oh
just
yeah.
pull a rabbit out of his ass and just make something out of it anyway?
Sometimes the
So
play
he's always
looks like
dangerous.
hike the ball and we're just gonna kind of. I don't know that
Just go
there's an
out there,
actual play
shake your
call.
hips for a little bit, and see what you can come up with. But
I feel that way sometimes because the moment he
mhm.
hikes the ball, he just has a different mannerism to him. It's almost like before he hiked the ball, he's like, "Well, this ain't gonna work."
Yeah, I
Like
don't like what I see. I'm
this
just gonna
isn't.
sit out here, twerk for 2 or 3 seconds, and then run.
Can't drink at the same time, bud. Anyway,
Fuck it.
I'm just teasing. Um, I think teams are falling in love. Jeez, Louise. Save some for you.
No.
Um, Teams are falling in love with the long field goal. I don't feel like everyone can make 60-yard field goals, but it feels
No.
like every team is trying 60-yard field goals. They're not the new 50. You have a leg or you don't. 50s are really good. The
Yeah.
60-yard field goal is for 5 to 7 guys, maybe 8 guys in the league to have the leg. It seems everyone's trying it. Um, I think was it Tyler Loop that tried it or Nose Bates? No, I haven't thought Bates had the 60. I want to see him make
He,
some more 50s for a while.
he's made some 60s.
Has he? One?
Yeah, well, it might have been.
Like a
I
60?
don't know if he
Not?
might have one in the NFL, but I know he made one or two when he was in the XFL or UFL.
Okay.
There was a game he made two of them, I think, actually in the same game. So he's got the leg for it. Now, can he go 65, 66? Probably not. But there's probably only, I think, maybe three of them that can probably hit from 65 plus. Nobody else. I mean, you may be able to get a 61 or a 62 and barely clear the crossbar, but it's kind of annoying to
Hmm.
see a lot of teams trying this. Great faith in your kicker. If you got that much faith in your kicker,
Yeah.
okay, great. Have as much faith in him as you want, support him all you want, but don't put him out there and make him look like an ass in front of the world and then put your team in a bad spot. They're already on your side of the 50.
Yeah.
So you're putting your defense in a bad spot just because you want to say my kicker can make this kick. I believe in him. Oh shit, he was about 10 yards short. Okay, well damn it. Now we're screwed. So, and then you give a great offense like Detroit a starting spot like that, you can about guarantee they're going to put seven up on you.
Yeah. I don't necessarily get it. I'm being drawn in by field goal kicks more. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know why. Because every time I look down, it says 60. And I go, oh. And I'm
Yeah,
like, is this the ploy? Is this the,
yeah,
we need to make field goal kicking exciting?
yeah. It's the new going for it on fourth down. From a
Yeah.
couple years ago, something to try to do something new to make something
Hmm.
out of nothing. It's like, okay, well, it's still a humongous risk to try to do something like that.
Yeah.
And if you constantly do it and fail,
Hmm.
it's not a good look for your club. It just
It,
isn't.
it's like you said, if you were going to do a kickoff, you would not be
Hmm.
excited about kicking the ball off out of bounds and the team starting on the 40-yard line. Well, when you
Yeah,
kick a 60-yard field goal and you miss, they start on the 43-yard line.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
calculated risk that you have to like, how good is my kicker to make this? And I think teams are trying it too much. Like, no offense to Bates. At no point did I thought he was going to make that field goal. Before he went
No,
up, I was like, no way. I would have
yeah.
been fairly shocked if he had.
If you're indoors, you've got. I don't see a problem with it really. If you're indoors, if you're in a controlled climate, but
Hmm.
outdoors, and I don't think it was really specifically too windy or anything last night. But um, anytime that a 60-yard field goal is definitely something you want to reserve for indoors.
Yeah.
I
Or
think,
Denver,
or Denver, yeah.
right?
Or if you're going to Mexico City, the air's thin up there too.
Yeah.
But
But the problem is the ground is awful. So you might just fall.
mhm, yeah, something bad is more than likely going to happen.
Um, I think that was about it. Do you have anything to add? Oh, the Montgomery touchdown. I did want to touch on this. Was it a good idea? So I thought the end of the game was kind of interesting. Do you see Jared Goff as Montgomery is approaching the 5 yard line? He's like,
Go down, go down, go
go
down.
down, go down. And he didn't because, like at the end of the day, we got him, right? And it feels good.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
what I thought was interesting is 2 minutes left on the clock. Baltimore has all three timeouts. When I saw Goff do that, I was like, yeah, you're right. You should have went down because they go down the field. And I think the biggest blunder at the end of the game the Ravens did was they called a timeout during their drive. Can you imagine the scenario where you go down the field and you conserve time well enough, you clock it, whatever you have to do, and you conserve those timeouts because they're the most valuable thing at that point. If you can get down there and score with about 25 seconds left, you have all three timeouts, you have a backup to the onside kick, and you can call three timeouts. And we just saw Philly win on a blocked field goal. We just saw certain things happen. Who's to say that with 15 seconds left, Detroit is trying to decide what are we going to do on fourth down? And what if they decided to kick another field goal? And what if you block it? I just thought with one less timeout, you automatically lost the game. All it took was using the one timeout on your own drive, And I just wished clock management wise there would have been a more of a distinct plan. If I'm on the video game, I'm not using those timeouts. I'm clocking it, I'm throwing it
Yeah.
away, I'm out of bounds. I am very conscious about that. I need those. I need them if I have any chance or if I need my backup. So I just thought they could have tried to hold on to it. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, that's one of those. We got confidence in our guys. Their defense was really good. You know, and they may have allowed some points and everything and all that, but when it came down to it and they needed to make a play, they made a play.
Talking about
So
Detroit?
and Detroit, yeah.
Okay,
When
okay.
I think that maybe that's why it was like, okay, well, we'll go ahead and get in the end zone. I believe our defense can hold them,
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah.
force a turnover, or just get on Lamar. They were on Lamar all night long.
Yeah. I just meant
In
for
our old,
Baltimore, they should have saved their timeout instead of using it on their
they
drive.
should have,
Totally
yeah, yeah. I
terrible.
think they should have too. You're right about that. But I'm just saying, as far as why Montgomery went in
He
instead
was
of going
confident.
down, he was just like, dude, I started myself. I got to get this.
That was a fantasy
I
move.
got, and if you played the Lions backfield last night, you woke up this morning more than likely with a dub, and you're
And
a
you're
happy
like,
guy. So
yeah,
you're like,
I got Montgomery in my flex and Gibbs in my RB1, and I'm feeling pretty
yeah,
happy.
yeah, you're very very pleased, and I like to give just a quick shout out to our former D lineman, Al Quadin Muhammad, 2.5 sacks, dude.
Half.
2.5 sacks. So underrated. He
Mm-hmm.
was one of my favorite guys when he was here
Yeah.
because he didn't jump out on the stat sheet all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
he always seemed to be right there when it's like fourth quarter, they're going on a drive, we're only up by 3 or 5 or something,
Mm-hmm.
and we need something to juice us up a little bit. He was usually there with a big tackle for loss or a sack or a tip ball. He's very situationally
Mm-hmm.
aware,
Yeah.
and he balled out last night, man. I'm very happy for him. I'm glad he's still having success on another team, even though he's I think he's Aiden's backup or even backup of a backup on the
Mm-hmm.
depth chart, but he's gonna get more PT now, dude. He looked
I
really good last night.
I honestly how much he was wreaking havoc. I just assumed that he was starting on the other side of Hutchinson. I was like,
Yeah,
boy, he's going to be able to eat a lot because Hutchinson is obviously commanding a lot of attention.
yeah,
So I was
yeah,
like, man, Muhammad's on the other side. He might even have a Pro Bowl year. He's going to do so good.
yeah. He was Big Dog was eating last night, man. It
Yeah.
was it was nice to see. Anytime it's kind of like when we were seeing Isaiah Rogers have the game that he had on Sunday. It's like they're your kids still, and it's like yeah, you're somewhere else, but you still want to see him do good, and you really really are happy for him.
Yeah.
Because it's just seem they're going to be a cult for life no matter where they go.
Yeah.
You're always going to root for them
Yeah.
unless they go to New England or something or Kansas City. You kind of want them to kind of shit out a little bit, but I'm
Yeah.
very happy he had a great game last night.
They pronounced his name Al Quadine, and I was like, wrong. Like this,
No,
I'm pretty
Al
sure that's
Al
wrong.
Quad and Mahelmed.
I mean, even if it's right, it's still wrong. Like Okereke,
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah. It's Okariki.
Okariki.
That's right. It'll always be Okariki. I don't care.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it. You have anything else you want to add?
Um, yeah,
Okay.
we had. I just want to kind of touch on Amon Ra a little bit. That dude, man, he is special. He is like, I want to say he is a combination of Hines Ward and Justin Jefferson. He will run routes on you.
Mhm.
He will get open. He will win every single time. And then he'll knock your ass into the ground too and
Yeah.
block you. He is, I would say, the best wide receiver blocking, period.
Mhm.
Every time you see Gibbs or Montgomery break something off, he's always right there making a good block
Mhm.
or just getting in the way or something. He's really good at it, and I
Yeah.
think it's something that especially like high school and college teams need to kind of be teaching the younger kids a little bit
Yeah.
more. If you want to develop a young player very well, very very well, play them a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown tape, and you say, do what this dude does, and you will be successful.
I second that. That's a very good take, Heinz Ward. My mind was going more like maybe a Torrey Holt and a Steve Smith put together.
Mm, yeah.
Some kind of vibe there. I mean, I don't know if people remember Lavernius Coles, but there's just like
Oh
certain
no.
vibes that I feel. But
You're
yeah,
you're
no,
reaching way deep into the pocket there,
I
bud.
want to throw names out. I'm name dropping. Here we go. Let's see, Santana Moss, maybe.
Oh,
Um,
Wayne Corbett, yeah,
that's
Jerome Pathon,
anyway.
Steve
No,
Largent.
I get what you're saying. A guy that's not, he's not the biggest receiver. He's not the smallest receiver. He gets
Yeah.
involved in every play. He blocks. He pays attention to what's supposed to happen. He
Yep.
doesn't take plays off. He
Mhm.
gets open. He's not I'm just going to run 60 yards fast as I can to catch a bomber. He goes out. He goes in. He zigs inside to cut back out. He does all of the route tree and he
Yep.
blocks. And it's
Yep.
just like, that's what you're doing. That's what you're teaching guys. That's what
And
every receiver, every kid. Yes, I
and,
agree. They
and
should learn.
he's not a diva. He
No,
can have no catches or one catch, and you're going to see him hustling every single play. It's like God. I wish if I could have three of him on one team, dude. It'd be Super Bowl every year.
and
He's
he could
I love watching him go.
he could easily be a diva because he has that emotion and that passion. You
Yeah.
can see when he scores
Yeah.
in some of his celebrations, you
Mhm.
pulling his hamstring and all that. He's got the diva in him, but
Mhm.
he controls that
Yeah.
on the
He
field.
channels it very well.
He doesn't allow it to get in any kind of out of character kind of way. You have a
Mhm.
touchdown, you celebrate, you have fun. I don't Joe Horn too hard. I just have fun.
Yeah.
And then you go to the sideline, and then you go and like what his coach would say is you take some kneecaps on the next play.
Mhm.
Like that's it. It's the culture.
Yeah.
You built the culture. If there's one thing you give Dan Campbell, it is the fact that he built a culture. And there's not a
Mhm.
lot of head coaches out there realizing that that's what you have to do. All the head coaches failing right now, they don't know how to build a culture.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
They're so X and O fantasized, and they're the smartest guy in the room on paper, and they talk a great game, and they just feel like they're prepared for game day, but they don't build cultures. That's a totally different situation. There's a total different pride and passion and energy and enthusiasm, and they don't. Those guys are new, and they're good at one thing, and they don't know
Yeah.
how to build culture and locker room, and yeah, it's just different.
Yeah. It's really nice to see in a league where wide receivers are whiny at times. You got
Get a bad rap.
your yeah, you have your diva wide receivers who are just like, if I don't have five catches, I'm very mad and I'm going to express myself. I'm going to blow up on the sidelines. Like you saw George Pickens the other day, he did the same thing.
Yeah.
Amon Ra is able to channel it, and honestly, all the Lions wide receivers do it.
Mhm.
Jameson Williams, he can be a little touchy at times, but I haven't seen it out of him this year yet. So he's learning and he's embracing the culture there, like you said.
Mhm.
He's got a good check on the pulse there for those guys.
Yeah. It matters how you win and it matters how you lose.
Yeah.
And when you see a Super Bowl champ, you got Jalen Hurts, even keel all the time. That
Mhm.
matters. That kind of stuff
It
and that
does.
kind of energy, it's infectious. Dan
Yep.
Campbell has the excitement and the passion, and everyone else is like low penalties, low mistakes, play our hearts out. That and what more can you ask for your football team? If you're not a fan of the Lions, you're not really that much of a fan of the football, really. I mean,
No, no, you want that. A That's just a straight unit,
yeah,
is what those guys have.
yeah,
After they played it as poorly as they played against Green Bay. They have looked a complete 180 last week and then this week.
hmm
They're turning it around, and it's going to be scary. Jared Goff annihilated the Bears,
hmm
and then he turns around. He didn't have his greatest game ever, but I mean, he was still. I think it was 20 of 28. He's extremely efficient, just over 200 yards. Nothing really to write home about, but he's not putting the ball in bad places. He's not causing turnovers. He's putting the ball where it needs to go. And then you have, Sonic and Knuckles doing what they do. And to see them go off for 218 yards and 4 total touchdowns between the two of them last night. Man, this team, as much as everybody wanted to be like, well, they're going to regress because they lost Ben Johnson. I don't see it. I
They
don't see
had
it now.
one. They had one play where they handed the ball off to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then he pitched it to Gibbs. And
Yeah,
that's
I
like,
was like,
oh,
man,
there's
why didn't
that.
you wait a little bit longer and forward pass? I need the fantasy points.
Yeah,
But
there's that creativity that I think everyone assumed. Oh, there goes
yeah,
Ben Johnson, and it's like, well, there was other staff there that were about that too, and they're obviously going to take
yeah,
some of those ideas and they're going to make them their own. So, the trick
yeah,
plays, those aren't going to go away. The fourth down conversions, those aren't going to go away. If surely they could play worse on fourth down, but the style of football isn't changing because of one guy.
oh
I
yeah,
I was quick to overreact from game one because Green Bay looked so hellacious. But
yeah.
game in and game out, we're starting to see what people are made of. You're starting to see their character. And I about jumped off the shift too early. Thankfully I felt like I probably should wait another week, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, yeah. Give it a little bit of time. Like I said, the first 2 weeks of the season don't matter.
Yeah,
It just doesn't. Yeah, but during week three, you get a good idea of where people are at. From a culture standpoint, from a game planning standpoint, you kind of get what people are about, and the conferences are starting, the divisions are starting to kind of even themselves out a little bit.
yeah,
So now it's like, okay, this is what I can expect from these guys against this kind of a matchup. So I'm looking forward to what Detroit can be special again this year. And
yes,
Baltimore could turn it around too. They're a very talented group,
hmm
but they got KC in KC this week. I'm just happy that one of those teams is going to be 1-3 when it's all said and done. Get whoever it is. I really don't care.
starting to feel
It's
like
one less team,
we might
one
be
more
getting
team out of our way. Yeah,
yes, get them out of the way. I'm starting to think we might get a little more fresh meat this season.
yeah,
There's going to be some
it's looking
fresh.
like it.
Yeah,
At least early. I mean, this stuff could turn around, and it always seems like it does. Kansas City's not going to be down forever. The
no.
coaching staff is too damn good. Patrick Mahomes is too damn good.
Mhm.
As much as I don't really like Travis Kelsey all that much, I think he's a little flamboyant on the field, and he's an emotional guy. But if you're going to be yelling at one of the greatest coaches of all time on the sidelines, stop, dude. Just stop. Yell at somebody else. Go yell at someone who doesn't matter. Go yell at the towel guy or something. Don't yell at Andy freaking Reid
Yeah.
because he'll just smash you like a good old cheeseburger.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up Monday Night Football.
Yep.
We're gonna go and move on. We're gonna do the power rankings for the NFL after Week 3. I think we should start off at number 5. Who is the fifth best team on your paper, Jay?
Right now, I'm gonna stick to it. The theme today. I'm gonna keep Detroit at 5.
Okay.
Just based on what I've seen. Yeah, maybe the Bears aren't anything to write home about or anything to brag about, but they still hung a 50 piece on them.
Yeah.
And then doing what they did in Baltimore last night, they just seem to be a complete team. The defense plays well when they need to. A bend but don't break kind of outlook on those guys. Jared Goff, as much as people want to crap on him, he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. I don't care who wants to argue it, that's fine. But they got the run game's working, Goff's putting the ball where it needs to go, and the defense is making plays when they need to. If anybody wants to say, well, what about Tampa? What about San Francisco? They're undefeated. Yeah, they're undefeated, but if you look at Tampa Bay, they've had to have 3 game-winning drives to be 3-0. And then the 49ers, you have all sorts of injuries. You lose Nick Bosa for the year. You got Purdy out for maybe another couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then McCaffrey, his legs can go at any day. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to make an argument for one of those two teams instead, I'm with you. But
I
right now,
will.
I think the most complete team. I hope you do. But I would say that the fifth best team right now definitely is, in my opinion, Detroit.
That is totally fair. I have them on my list here that I was going to mention that I almost put them. And I just didn't feel right with what they had happen on opening day. I'm like, can I like just not count it? I can't not count it. I cannot count it if other teams have the same record. Then I
Yeah,
could maybe not.
it definitely happened, you know.
Right.
So
And then that team just got beat by the Browns. So I'm like, well, then I really got to count it, right? So
yeah, that's
that's my thinking there.
not a good
I
look.
I was between 49ers and Bucks at 5 because they're 3-0. They both beat a couple of teams that were not great. But I'm impressed with both of them for exactly what you said. The fact that they both have had game-winning drives to win games, those are hard to do. I'm impressed with that. They're both taking injuries. I'm impressed with that. Mike Evans was a lost. Now you got Bosa, he was out, and you got Purdy has been out. So those are the reasons that I'm impressed by. Wow, the makeup of the entire team is really good because they're winning games at the end, regardless of what they have going on. So for me, I was like, look, Detroit came in this season a little unprepared, a little surprised, a little unsure of how to play the new Packer team. That's fine. They have another chance to figure it out. I just was like, you know what? I don't want to put a 3-0 team off the power ranking. So I put the 49ers because I think what they're dealing with is more and they're still 3-0. They still beat Arizona, who has, I think, a really good defense. I just feel more impressed. I believe they opened the year with beating Seattle, too, which is another really good defense. So I just felt like the 49ers are at number 5.
Yeah. Well, you're incorrect in my opinion, but I won't hold it against you. It's not a bad. It's not like it's a bad take or anything like that. But
You didn't want to go chalk, and I didn't
well,
want to either. I
it's not
wanted to look
necessarily about
closer.
chalk. Yeah, it's not necessarily about chalk. It's just like what do you have going on right now? You know, when you if you lose a Nick Bosa, you're gonna see a difference.
Mhm.
You know, maybe Brock Purdy and Mac Jones aren't that far off from one another. Maybe not, but
We,
you know, Brock Purdy is their guy. I'm not saying that they should
yeah,
keep him out,
yeah.
but Mac Jones does have experience, a lot of experience. He may have been on New England when they were sour.
San Francisco, they let go of like 5, 6 guys to keep Birdie. I swear, if they
Yeah.
go to freaking Mac Jones,
No, there, no, 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 no. I don't
I'm
think
going
Shanahan
to
would be that ridiculous. And if he was, oof.
here
I
on
don't
the
know.
J&K show, I'm going to castrate the 49ers just for being a badly run business.
Yeah, that
They
no. I
that would
if
be
if Shanahan were to say, I'm thinking about starting Mac Jones, I think John Lynch would rewind to 1997 and just spear the ever living hell out of him and say, "Get out, get out."
get out of
But
here.
I'm just saying, from what you've seen out of Mac Jones since Purdy's been injured, he's
We
run the
always
offense pretty well.
we always go
And
through that system. We see
yeah,
it and we're like,
yeah. And
I,
Shanahan's got that system where if your backup comes in, he's not gonna be too far off. He's gonna be prepared.
this isn't
So,
CJ beat hard though.
oh, get
I
out of
get
here.
it. I
Iowa
get
quarterbacks should never be in the NFL. Period.
what Nick Mullins.
Hey, to leave Nick alone. He didn't do anything to anybody. Little
What team does he
buddy,
play
he's
for?
fine.
What team does
I
he
don't
play
know. I know he was more recently on the Vikings. I don't know
for?
if he's on a roster right now,
He
but
played last year. Yeah.
yeah, but
All right.
he's a good little buddy. You leave him alone.
I will go here. I'm gonna say at number 4, I got our team, the Colts.
INDY. I'm right
They
there with you.
they are number 2 in offense. We've only punted one time. Our defense has been great. Our schedule, 2 of the 3 will have no chance at all at playoffs, so I have to take that in consideration. We beat Denver very closely. So at this point right now, very solid 3-0, but closer towards the minimum of a 3-0 as far as impressiveness. We have more to prove, and the teams ahead that I have ahead of them, they have proven more at this point.
Yeah, I think NFL Network had us at 1-2 at this point. So I just kind of
Yeah.
look at this as a compare it to the last couple years where yeah we had Miami at home last year or the year before. We probably don't win that game. We had Denver come in. We don't win that game, and then we have to go on the road to Tennessee. We struggle in those games. Not only did we not struggle, we blew them out of the water in all phases. Week 1, we blew Miami's doors off.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2 against Denver, maybe should have lost the game, but Jim Irsay went into that ref's pocket like, there was a little leverage, and
One
he
more
threw laundry.
time.
One more. So yeah, I think, and there's some. I'm not really one of those guys, but I do believe the boss is doing some things right now. He's definitely watching over this team, and I love it. I hope it continues. We're gonna have a really tough matchup this week,
Yeah.
but I will agree with you. I do believe we are definitely at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
But this will be a good test for us, though. If we can go to LA and beat the Rams in their house, I would have no reservation saying we're definitely a top 3 team.
We will be in everyone's top 5. I
Yeah.
know you watched some Colin Cowherd today. Do you have
Oh
anything
boy, you
to?
want to talk about online castration? I was so pissed when he did his top 10, to not have the Colts on there at all, and to have Baltimore at 10, and then blatantly admits to having Kansas City at 11. What is your freaking problem, dude? He's going. There's too much West Coast air going into his head, because to not have I wasn't thinking I was going to see the Colts at 4 or 5 for him. I figured at least be eight or 7. But it's like, dude, you're going to hold Baltimore at 10. Dude, what is your problem? You're
Awful.
not watching, really. But you watch any of his other segments, he's like, oh yeah, the Colts are really doing pretty good. Daniel Jones, yeah, he's Danny Dollar, blah 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 blah
Prove
blah.
it.
Yeah, but then you leave us out of the top 10. Get out of here, dude. I'm not going to
There,
take him seriously anymore.
there are 12 undefeated teams in the NFL right now, and he were
Yeah,
putting a bunch of losers in front of the Colts.
yeah,
That's fair, right?
yeah. It's
Um,
ridiculous.
I swear I watched week 2 Cowherd, and he had us at
He
8.
had us at 10. Well, he had
He had us
it
at
was
10.
9 or
It
10,
was at the back.
something
He
like
he
that.
mentioned this early.
Yeah,
So he ranked us lower after crushing the Titans. What did we show
yeah.
that made us look like we weren't as good as they thought they were? Like, I don't understand that.
I don't
What
know.
a just I don't even have the words. What a just
I don't either. It is
no.
very disappointing. Very disappointing. But I'm sure he has his reasons. None of them are good. I'm not going to listen to any of them,
Does
because
he
there's
think
just no
that
way you can be that asinine.
So this is how I thought power rankings worked. I thought that you went and looked at how they're playing right now, body
Hmm.
of work, points, points against,
Hmm.
common opponent, strength of schedule. I thought that we built it like BCS, right? Almost.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
here, I think what he's doing is it's almost like he's making the assumption, oh, well, Baltimore's a better team. And Kansas City is a better football team than the Colts. And then I'm like, but what have you
But
done lately?
yeah,
What have you seen lately? It's easy to make power rankings, and it's like, oh, okay, so they're like Alabama. They can still have 3 losses and be like, well, but they're one of the best teams in the nation. Off of what standard are you looking at? There are other teams that have played better. So you're going off of
yeah, I
pro
don't get it.
prospects. You're going off like so what? They're going off Pro Bowlers. He's going off Pro Bowlers, Jay. That's what it is. He thinks there are more
I
Pro Bowlers on those teams.
Yeah, well, just save this clip. Maybe it'll be. I think we're probably going to have 4 or 5 Pro Bowlers from this team.
At
So
least.
I don't want to hear it. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear it from them. I'm done. Move on.
Moving on. Who do you have at number 3, Jay?
Number 3 right now, I have the LA Chargers at number 3. Um, Again, just an overall well balanced team. Yeah, they might have gotten down to Denver a little bit in that game, but I mean it's a divisional opponent, so those games are always going to be close. So Herbert doing what he's doing, Quentin Johnson coming back to life. The defense, they lost Khalil Mack for a little
Mm-hmm.
while, but they still are playing good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I got the Chargers at 3.
I agree. I also have the Chargers at 3, and it's interesting when you said Denver. The first thing I thought of is their good win, right? Well, and then you look at, well, who have they beat? I believe they beat Tennessee. Kansas City's beat the Giants. Those are teams in your head that you're thinking at 1 and 2, those are good football teams. And right there is why I think Cowherd's getting himself mixed up.
Yeah,
Because yes,
I
they
absolutely
are
think
good
so.
football teams typically, but they are not performing and executing well right now.
Yeah,
They are
yeah,
honestly Denver is beating themselves in key moments in the game. Where teams like Tampa Bay, I put them in the five, they're not. In the end of a game, Baker and everyone, they come through. And that matters. 49ers, they come through, even with the Mac Jones. Broncos haven't. And we've seen teams like Minnesota years ago, they lost 7 or 8 games by one score games. They were like 1-9, 1-8. They flip it and they were awesome. And that's the difference between being awesome and missing playoffs. You might be the best, or you might not even go to the playoffs. So the Chiefs and the Broncos right now, they're trending towards potentially missing playoffs. They have
yeah,
to figure out how they're going to finish games and how they're going to prepare and play for their opponent. And right now, the Broncos being what they're doing, they might miss playoffs. So we know they're a good football team, but that doesn't mean you win. Like there's more
yeah,
to that.
yeah. A little known fact here that the Chargers are in week 3. They're 3-0, and they're 3-0 against their division. So they're already up on those guys.
They've played 3 of their
So
6 already.
they played 3 of the 6 already, and they
Yep.
haven't lost. So
They've got a
if you're,
stranglehold.
they got a
Got
hold
a
on that division right now.
2 game lead on the division now.
Yep, already.
Stranglehold.
So you give yourself a little bit of a cushion here, especially I haven't looked at their entire schedule, but I know that they're going to have to go to some rough places, especially in cold weather, and we know how those LA teams do in cold weather. Usually don't fare too well,
Road
but
games don't bother the Chargers because their home games are road.
their home games are road games, yeah. But still, you go to those cooler climates and everything. It could be a test later, so it's like if they have to go somewhere and it's single digits or something, it's like okay, we don't have to win this. It's not a must win right now.
Right?
So they're building a cushion right now, and it's
Mm-hmm.
only going to help them.
Yep, I agree. Number 2, I have the Buffalo Bills.
There's something
Right?
there, bud.
Hey,
There's
this is
something
the
there.
J and K show, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not by accident we will agree on a
No.
lot of things, but when we
Yeah.
disagree, we will tell each other how wrong we are.
Yeah.
But in this case, we agree. The Bills are the second
Yeah.
best team. They have a fairly good schedule. I feel like they've done what they were supposed to do, and in key moments, they have looked like that championship kind of team. Not to say these other guys in the power rankings haven't, but there's more of a wonder about them. And I feel like clear Bills, AFC, they are the team to beat right now from what we've seen.
Yeah, there's no threat in their division whatsoever right now.
No.
Dolphins are terrible. Jets are while they did play well against Tampa, they're still 0-3. And the Patriots are the Patriots. I think they will probably still finish as the second best team in the division, but I don't think they're going to threaten Buffalo at all. I think Buffalo might have this division wrapped up by week 12.
So help me if I'm wrong. The Dolphins are 0-3, the Jets are 0-3, and New England's 1-2. So if New England hadn't played the Dolphins, then they could have all be 0-3.
Mm-hmm. They
That
could have
tells
all
you
been 0-3.
everything you need to know about the AFC East right there is the only way they're
Yeah.
getting wins is when they play each other. I
Yeah,
mean, they've
it's a
still
little bit like the Chargers in the AFC West. They're undefeated and everybody else is 1-2.
yeah. I found that interesting. If New England played just anybody else, chances are the Dolphins still would have lost their game, and New England could have lost, and they would all be 0-3. That's all the difference is at this point in week 3. That could have happened, and then you would look at it and go, "Wow, the Bills just won the division in week 4."
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a bad
So
division. As much crap as we get for the AFC South. Like, yeah, our bottom two teams are 0-3 as well,
mhm.
but we're not. That doesn't automatically make us the worst division in football. Still, right now, I think the worst division in football is the AFC East.
Yeah, we got them by
But
a little bit because the Clown
mm,
Pound is a little bit better than New England, and
a little
they've
bit,
shown
yeah.
that so far.
Maybe not by much, but
Yeah,
they are a little bit.
Yep. Who do you have at number one? But
Number one, hands down, you probably got them there too.
yep.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh no, I don't. No.
Shut the hell up. Probably the best in all three phases. Um, their offense can look atrocious at times. They play decent halves of football. When they get four solid quarters, they're not beatable. So you got when you have Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, all of them woke up this week.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes it a lot
but you know
easier to
that
win
they're
when they're participating.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. But
oh,
you don't
okay.
have to depend on Saquon every snap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're if they can keep this going, if they can get that passing game rolling, and Jalen was struggling in the passing game so far this year, but
Hmm.
that defense is going to keep them in every single game,
Yeah.
and their special teams. I mean, they blocked the field goal there at the end, so um, they can do it. Until somebody shows us that they can keep them down for four quarters until there's zeros on the clock. Philly's going to be in every game. They should be favored. You know, whether you're a fan of the tush push or not, you know they're going to be there. So until somebody can show that they're able to topple them, I'm going to have them at number.
I agree. I can't remember a time when I watched a lot of those games of a Super Bowl returning champ and thought, man, they're kind of experiencing a hangover. And then also thought, my God, they're just dominating. To me, that is the most scariest team where it's like, oh, you're seeing their flaws in real time and you're seeing them make up for it in real time. And it's like, oh man, are they going to lose a game? I think they probably will, but when they're correcting things mid game and they're coming back and they're doing what they're doing, and you're seeing them just, oh hey, this isn't working. Let's do this. Oh, let's. I normally there's a hangover, and I'm watching them get over it mid game, and it honestly they look as about as impressive of a Super Bowl champ starting out as we've seen in a while. Because when the Chiefs did it, they had real hangovers, and even when they start out 2-0, 3-0, you're just like, man, they're dropping a lot of passes, and man, they're not playing that well, and they're not running the ball. There's always something that they've done over the years, and you just felt not confident. You got Nick Wright. He's be like, listen, they're still the best team. Here's why. Chris Jones is the best defensive player. And he'd go on and on and on. But you're like, our eye test, we can see they have clear flaws. I don't know if Philadelphia has any clear flaws. I don't really know if they do.
Maybe you could say the only thing that they're not starting fast. That would be the only thing that I can see. You know, getting going down 26-7
Mm-hmm.
to the Rams. You know, maybe that's what it took to give them that kick in the balls that they needed to wake up a little bit. But
Yeah,
that's like my only thing that I can make sense of. Yet they're not starting fast like they used to. But again, if they're able to come out and dig themselves out of a 19-point hole to a top 10 or 15 team, then what's stopping them? They're the only team I think that can beat them. They can. The Eagles are the only team that are going to beat the Eagles.
I agree. And at this point, based on how teams are playing, the Rams had the best shot of beating them, and then they let them
Mm-hmm.
off the hook.
Yeah.
We'll see as we look at the schedule on Fridays where we see that, well, I think they could lay an egg here. It feels more likely that they're going to lay an egg against a Carolina than they will against the top team because they just come in pretty really prepared. I
Yeah,
just
they're gonna have a tough game against Tampa this week,
yes.
um, but you know Tampa again, are they gonna have to rely on another final drive, fourth quarter comeback? You
Hmm.
know, so I don't know. I
On
don't know
Philly's
if
defense.
Philly, yeah, I
Philly's
don't know if Philly would allow Tampa to get that big lead and then allow them to
mhm.
come back and then say, okay, well, we'll give you this last drive
Yeah.
to come down and beat us with it. But I think that'll probably that's my game of the week this week is Philly and Tampa. That's the one
Yeah.
I want to see the most. You know, of course, I want to see the shoe, but you know, outside of that,
Hmm.
I'm really looking forward to watching Philly and Tampa.
Yeah, for sure. Easy. All right. We are now going to do the
The
bottom,
trash.
the trash bag of the NFL.
The
Uh,
league trash.
and we'll start at number 5. In honorable mention, I went back and forth. I did not put the Texans, and the reason was that they have the seventh best scoring defense. And so I'm going to reward a good side of football. They are not the fifth worst team in the league, even though their offense is really bad so far. They're just completely off. I put the Jets at number 5. They just obviously the injury to Fields, the way they played against Pittsburgh, close but no cigar. Then you can lose to New England, and it's just I or did they play New England? Who did they play? My bad. They lost to Tampa. You come back, you have a shot to beat Tampa. You let them off the hook there. I see a lot of let them off the hooks for the Jets. And so they're going to be that kind of team that you're like, hey, they're taking steps in the right direction, but their record doesn't show it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
they needed that. They needed that Pittsburgh win. That's definitely a game that they should have
It
won, and
probably
maybe
would
they
have
would have.
it would have
Maybe
changed
they
the
would have rode that momentum for a little bit,
yeah.
But when you do that, you lose to the Steelers, and then you come back and you get blown out by Buffalo, and then you come and uh, play your asses off
Yeah.
against Tampa.
Yeah.
I couldn't put them at 5
Okay.
because of what I saw from them to come back on the road against one of the top 7 or 8 teams right now, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to show that much heart and to see Aaron Glenn running down the field with his guys, it's like they got the energy and they have a good chemistry with each other, I think. But they need to put it together for an entire game. And until I see that, I, I I'm not gonna shit on them too hard. But the way that I saw them take it to Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
they took it from Buffalo, but then they came back and they fought really hard to come back on Tampa, and maybe they even should. These guys could easily be 2-1,
Yeah.
easily be 2-1.
Yes.
So that makes me think, okay, maybe they're not trash. Maybe they're not really an 0-3 team. So I'm not going to sell them out just yet.
Okay.
My are we going 5-4-3, like one is
I
the
think
worst
so.
team?
I think
One
so.
is the worst team. Okay.
Yes.
So I actually have Houston there. Their defense is all right. Yeah, they're ranked and all that, but there is no chemistry whatsoever from those guys. There's no running game. Houston needs a running game to be successful in that offense, and C.J. Stroud needs a running game so he can do his play action, he can do his bootlegs and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and chuck it down the field. But it's just not there. And as good as Houston's defense is, they're human, man. They're going to get tired and they're going to get wore out. And you get into the third, fourth quarter, they're not going to be able to stop you on a long drive because they're exhausted. So until I see C.J. Stroud in the offense go out and make some noise and actually put up some points, that defense is not going to be good enough to save them the entire year. Their defense is going to have to start scoring points if they're going to win games, and that's not a winning recipe at all.
I feel like with when I compared with Baltimore earlier, don't you think though that if Houston for them to be one of the worst offenses that puts so much on their defense and yet their defense I said scoring. Their scoring defense is 7th in the NFL. So
Yeah,
somehow their offense is scored 55 points in 3 weeks and they're one of the worst offenses and yet the defense has not broke. Now, of course, they
yeah,
have lost their games, but the defense has remained the best. And you'd think in that scenario, like Baltimore, you have the highest offense and then also the worst defense. For them, you'd think that would make their defense worse because they're out there, what you're saying. I just feel like for them for they have the seventh best. I'm like, there's probably really no rhyme or reason for them having that with their way their offense is probably not sustaining drives as much as others. They're not scoring as much as others. They don't have a running game. I think the defense, kudos to the Houston Texans. I just couldn't put them there. Couldn't.
yeah. No, that's fine.
You're
We're
wrong.
all wrong. We're all wrong here and there, but I get what you're saying. But the recipe you can have a a bottom of the barrel defense and have a really top notch offense, and that you can survive it.
Right. Baltimore can
But you
sometimes
can't.
survive.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've seen it.
Baltimore can survive it. Kansas City can survive it.
Hmm.
But you look back at our old school Colts teams with when with Peyton, we never had a top 10 defense, and except for the Super Bowl year. How many times did we survive in the regular season because we scored 30 to 35 points a
Right.
game?
We just outscored them.
The defense would allow 25 or 26
Hmm.
a game, but we were scoring 30, 35.
Hmm.
So we were able to survive it because
Yeah.
our offense was so potent and nobody could stop it. The
Yeah.
Texans, on the other hand, everybody is stopping them. They're not going deep. They don't have that threat anymore. So I'm sure they'll get it turned around. They'll get some guys back and everything, but until and until they can put it all together, I'm afraid that it's just going to continue to get worse and worse for them.
So basically, your argument is like teams can survive having a great offense with a bad defense because really the
Mm-hmm.
name of the game is you can still outscore guys.
Yep.
I guess for me, I guess I'm crediting the fact that them having a great defense with a poor offense is kind of an outlier and kind of uncommon. And teams like the Bears in the past, sometimes Pittsburgh, it's like we talked about with Rodgers. He could win ugly and not
Yeah.
score a lot because of his defense. So for me, I guess I put Houston off because if they figure even anything out on offense, they would probably be able to win games because of the defense. So they're just closer to figuring it out. Maybe is the way to say that. It's the Jets are further away. They're playing with heart, but Houston is a couple sustained third down drive plays away from starting to have actual rhythm on offense. And I just think the Jets are a couple more of farther at this point. Yes. Yeah.
I get your point, and it's not completely stupid.
Or did you freeze?
No, I didn't freeze.
Are you
That
okay?
that's what we call in the business. That's what we call comedic effect.
Hello.
But no,
All right. Who do you have at
they
number
can
4?
absolutely, like I said, I'll end it with this. Texans can pull it out. We've seen their offense do amazing things, so
How about this?
they
How
can
about
figure
this?
it out.
Who is closer to turning it around and maybe getting a wild card? They're both 0 and 3. Who would you if you had to put your $5 down?
I
Who
would
do you think?
definitely put my money on the Texans because you don't know what the Jets are going to be, and you don't know when Fields is going to come back yet.
Right. There's just this
But
little level of uncertainty there. Just this tiny bit
but
more.
I've
That's kind of
seen
where I'm at.
I've seen more from the Jets.
Yes. I get it.
They I look at possible outcomes.
Mhm.
The Jets can absolutely be 2-1. The
Mhm.
game against Buffalo is an egg,
Yeah.
but they definitely could have beat the Steelers week 1, could have beat Tampa this week.
They
They
have
could
looked
be two
better.
and one.
I get it.
Houston, you might be able to make the argument that they could be 1-2. So that's what
I
made the
get it.
decision for me.
Understood. Who do you
But I'll
have at
move I'll
number
move on for you.
4?
At 4, I have Miami Dolphins. At 0-3, like all these teams are going to be. I haven't. Again, it's going to kind of be like Houston in a way, but with a worse defense. I haven't seen them push the ball. I haven't seen them play with any sort of urgency or even heart or unity, I guess you could say. The defense is Swiss cheese. Um, and like I said, yeah, the game plans, it just doesn't seem to be there. I don't know if McDaniels is hitting the vape pen too hard than a couple of days before, but he's just not able to put it together and not allowing Tua to push the ball. But like we said in the recap this week, I don't know if he can push the ball or if McDaniels is telling him not to push the ball because
Yeah.
outside of Achan, they're not throwing it to anybody else.
I get that. I did not put them at 4, but I agree with everything that you said because they're not good. And McDaniels, McDaniels, I am actually starting to question if he's really that interested in winning. And I don't mean that like, oh, he just wants to lose, but like, I
He
feel
definitely
like
comes off as very lethargic.
I feel like he has had his fun as a coach. Like there's something where
Yeah.
he seems disconnected. I don't know if the media has finally just made him not like it. I don't know what it is. Something about his enthusiasm. Obviously, losing takes some away, but it doesn't feel like he's really trying to save his job. I guess that's all I can really say. He doesn't really feel like he's trying hard to save his job. Like I don't imagine practices being hell. I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe he's just lost it and he doesn't want to be the head guy anymore. Maybe he wants to be an O coordinator again, and
Yeah.
he'll be a damn good one if he ends up doing that.
Yep.
But I said for right now, the whole team entirely. You saw their best effort against Buffalo, and
Mm.
it bit them right in the ass.
Yep.
It there's going to be something. You just look at it and you're just like, okay, they're going down the field in the fourth quarter. Something's going to happen. There's going to be a turnover, or there's going to be a penalty, or something is going to happen on this drive to lose them the game.
Yes, I absolutely
So
expect them to have something happen to lose the game, without a doubt.
yeah, yeah. So you can't look at that and say, yeah, these guys are outside of the top five trash teams. So their defense, by God, I mean, they did some good things on Thursday against the Bills, but you can't you can't really make that happen all the time. So they're going to get run on. They're going to, like you said, they're going to get tired. You can't sustain that. It's
Yeah.
just if your offense isn't putting anything on, their offense 2 or 3 years ago, yeah, you could have this kind of a defense and win a couple games, but it's not a winning formula at all.
I get it. I did not put them at 4. Stay tuned. I put the New York Giants at 4, and
That's a teaser.
congratulations to the GM who clearly watched this show yesterday.
I'm glad I
And
was able to make a difference and you were able to make a difference. You're welcome, New York.
shout out New York GM. Don't know your name. Uh,
Yeah.
you
Not
clearly
relevant
watched
in
the
this matter.
show. He announced that Jackson Dart will be starting.
Yep.
Have I had I known that before I made these power rankings, I would have put them at 4.
Hmm.
That's where they belong. But
Yeah.
Tracy got hurt. Scatabo looks nice. The only real bright spot that they didn't know coming in, they knew Neighbors was good. Wandale's solid. They have little pieces, and we'll see what Dart does. But as it stands right now, they should have won a game, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys are pretty bad. Maybe they're on someone's list. But
Yeah.
the Giants are actually worse in my mind because they actually lost that game. So at 0-3, Russ is officially benched. I think that when you see a benching, that tells you that they belong in the bottom 5. So I
Yep.
did put them at 4.
Yep. That's there. I see no problem with that. I have them a little bit lower.
Yes.
But it took them a while to make that decision. But and I get it. You want to give the veterans some time. You're giving them some money. You want to play them as long as you can tolerate it.
Yeah.
But I think them seeing Chicago do what they did to Dallas,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well,
That's how far
Russ
away
looked
you
really
are.
good against that bad defense,
Yeah.
and then you put him against Kansas City, who probably has a top 15 defense, about middle of the pack, and they couldn't do jack shit against those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And to see Russ just mentally shit himself on the field on those couple plays, it's like you are way too experienced and you have been in this league too long
Mm-hmm.
to do stuff like that. And I think that was enough. And Dayball was just like, I've seen enough. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
We'll put in the kids. If the rookie comes in and he makes those mistakes, he's a rookie.
Right.
Okay, he's a
You
rookie.
can't
He's not
have.
used to the speed of the game.
Yeah.
But Russ has just been through too much. He's done too much. He deserves a little bit of a respect and a little bit more of a leash. But right now, I think this is it for him.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. At number 3, This is really hard because there's a lot of bad teams in the NFL at this
Yeah.
moment.
We might
Um,
actually agree on this one. I don't know.
at
I'm
number
curious.
three, I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. And
Buddy.
bring it in.
Bah.
The Tennessee Titans, they're just missing things. They're away from figuring things out. It's just one of those moments where when we play them, I'm just like, oh, so they're at the very beginning of like life. They're like a little
Yeah.
toddler, a little baby, and it's going to take
The
some
larva stage.
time. Yeah. There is promise and there's prospect and potential and
Yeah.
but not they're not very good right now. This is unfortunately the kind of year they take to to make them better. And
Yeah.
they're number three, plain and simple. They drop passes. They're just execution the whole way around. They're learning how to play together, and they're. I didn't feel like they were 1 and 2 because of what I've seen at times and what their schedule has been. So I put them at three.
Yeah. Yeah. And you look, they hung around against Denver. They could have taken out Denver in week one.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought
but I
they played
mean,
hard.
they did. They played pretty well. And you watch Cam Ward play every single week, it looks like he's getting better.
Hmm.
And you look at their young guys, Amon Moore. I butcher his name all the time.
I think it's
Um,
Alec Ayanamor.
yeah,
Ayanamor.
yeah. You got him and DK. You kind of look at it like there's a foundation there at least,
Did you say
and it's not
DK?
like DK. It's a Dike. I think I believe it's his name is pronounced DK. So
I was like, you pronounced Ridley wrong. I was so confused.
no, no, I'm talking about their young
DK,
guys.
their special
Yeah,
teamer, and yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Okay,
He
Jameer
can be
DK.
electric.
Yeah,
At some point this year, he's going to take something back.
yeah.
And you got of course Ridley and Okonkwo. They got a solid little foundation there for him. Cam Ward's going to get it put together. He's going to get it figured out. Maybe he needs a new coaching staff to do that because I think Brian Callahan is just god awful. I
Did
don't
he
know how he
pass?
got the job.
Did he pass play calling duties to the OC today too? Did you read
If he
that?
didn't, then he needs to.
Yeah, I think he did. I'm
So
pretty sure I read that.
something needs to change there, and maybe that's what it is. And if that turns everything around, then it's like okay, he finally made a good decision.
If you play the Colts and you have some issues, clock management, getting the play in, figuring out what you're going to do, absolutely, you should be passing the play calling duties off so that you
Yep.
can manage that and tell your OC, hey, get us a play for 4th and 2, get us a 15 yarder for this field goal. We're going. You have to have a little bit of management there, and I think that at week 3, hey, kudos. He realizes that a head coaching job can be a little overwhelming, and he's
Yeah.
delegating. That's a part of being a leader.
Yeah. Yep. And that was a good job on his part.
So, all right. So you agreed with me then at
Hmm.
number 3. Who do you have at number 2?
Number two, that's where I put the G men.
The G-Men.
The Dreamer. I couldn't put him at the worst, but I couldn't put him any higher than second. Just at how out of sync they are. And the only time that they looked like they were decent is in the second half against a terrible Dallas team. So, I'm not going to, I don't have the Cowboys in the bottom five, but
Not yet.
the Giants, you're saying, not yet, but you're saying the Giants, I just don't see it. Maybe Jackson Dart can come in and maybe turn it around and get him out of the cellar a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
when you have talent like Malik Neighbors and you got Wandale Robinson and you got Cam Scatabo, you got to do something with them. You can't just set them out there and be like, "Here, you guys, just run deep all the time, and
Yeah.
we'll air out 30 deep balls. We'll only catch maybe 3 or 4 of them, and
Mm-hmm.
think that that's going to work."
And
So maybe Jackson Dart can get these guys the ball finally, and they can start doing some stuff
yeah.
with it, and maybe they'll move up the rankings a little bit. We'll see.
And what's frustrating with them too is as I look at my rankings, this isn't supposed to happen, but I don't think that they're a bottom 5 O line. And everyone else is. Everyone else has an O line problem. I think they are a little better than that at O line. And you're supposed to be able to win games. You can run the ball. Or you're protecting Russ enough to 35, 40 passes a game off. I felt like these other teams are really struggling on blocking right now, and the G-men are doing a little better than that. So discredit to a lot of other things that are going on, that they actually have some blocking that might put them at like 20th or 24th, and they still look like one of the worst teams in football. I
Yeah.
just, I'm like, come on, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that D line that they have is going to keep them in a lot of games.
That's true.
So if you can get Jackson Dart going with these guys, they may come back and be a 500 ball club, but I think the playoffs are out of the question for them at least right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But I don't think that they're going to be thinking playoffs. They're just going to be thinking, let's just get a game, like kind of like with Jim Mora back in the day. I just hope we win a game. I don't want to talk about playoffs. So
Playoffs.
playoffs, but I think that Dart could come in and he can make some noise. I think that he's gonna at least give them another route to go, because he can. I think he'll be a little bit more quick on the release. He'll get rid of the ball faster and
Yeah,
won't hold on to it because that seems to be Russell's problem. He just holds on to the ball too long and
yeah.
then just throws it away if he doesn't like his first two checks. So we'll
I
see
agree.
what happens though. I'm actually excited, and I think Giants fans should be excited,
Yeah,
and I think they are.
with the like you said, with the O line just being a little better than some of these, Jackson Dart, the offense,
Mm-hmm.
they have more promise than these other teams right now. Right
Right
now,
now, yeah,
they have more promise.
yeah.
So you're a little ahead these other teams just on steps of being a better football team. So I like it. Um, my number two, and I think I know who your number one is. My number two is the New Orleans Saints. I don't like them really at all. I don't like anything about them. I predicted that they were going to be the worst team in football. Believe it or not, I do have someone I think is worse, but the Saints have proven me just about right. Kamara should demand a trade. You heard it here first on the J&K show. I know you like it in New Orleans. I know they helped you through your troubles in Vegas, but at the end of the day, you should be requesting a trade and playing your remaining years on a contender. The Saints are nowhere close. They're nowhere close. They probably don't have the right quarterback in the building to become close. They are drafts away. They need a draft to get as good as maybe the Giants look, and then they need another draft to be more of a mid card team. That's my view of it. They have two drafts before you think they could be 500, unless they hit someone who's just all-star Micah Parson pass rusher, like just some all-star guy. They're at least two drafts away. Kamara, don't waste your years there. Demand a trade.
No, he deserves to go to a contender. That guy
Yeah,
has done so much for that team and that city. I mean, God love him for being loyal. You
yeah.
cannot say he is an unloyal guy.
No, he could have left
I
so.
love that shit. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. But if you're going to look at anybody who goes and chases rings,
Hmm.
you kind of look at it as like, they're ring chasing.
Yeah.
But Kamara, if he's going to be like, if we're going to be 5, 6 years away, I've probably got 3 good, solid prime years left.
Yes.
Maybe play out your contract, but then go try to be on a contender and see what it's like because he
Yes.
hasn't outside of maybe 2 seasons, he hasn't been on a highly contending team.
Hmm.
I mean, he was with Drew Brees at the end of his career, but he deserves to win.
Yes.
He's one of those guys that you don't have a problem rooting for him. I love Alvin Kamara so much.
And the
Um,
the one team in the Power Five that we both put, and I look at and I go, yeah, the Chargers. The rest of
yeah,
those teams got their
I
guy.
would love
Can
to
you
see him.
imagine
Mm,
Harbaugh with Kamara for the Chargers? You again, you hear it here first on the J and K show. They are a running back away from being last year's Eagles. Call Saquon Barkley and ask him what that felt like to go in the division when you wanted to be in New York. You wanted to be in New York, and they didn't want to give you the right money. That's another thing too. Is the running backs are underpaid for what they wind up
Yeah.
doing. If they stay healthy, they're
Yeah.
completely underpaid. They touch the ball
Mhm.
the third most time on their entire team. That is in fact. Look it up. And they get paid 14 million, 15, sometimes a little more. Whoever, I think Kamara is like 14 or 15. He's underpaid. He deserves to play on a contender. He shouldn't. Well, hey, you got a big contract, so stay in New Orleans. No, you deserve to go wherever you want to go because you're one of the best running backs in the league.
Yeah.
It's
And
not a
plus, you
shameful
can
thing to demand a
you
trade when you've done what you've done for the long length of time that you've done it. That it's not shameful. Saquon Barkley is a champion. That's what it is. It's
yeah.
championship.
Yeah, he deserves it to go to a contender. And plus you can combine their names. You can call it Kamar Ball. That would be hilarious.
You heard it here
It
first.
works already. It's like destiny, bud. I swear.
Kamar Ball. I'm looking. I just
Kamar
when
Ball.
we were talking. I looked at it and I'm like, Eagles, Bills, Chargers, Colts, 49ers, Bucks, Lions. They all have one or two running backs, except the Chargers, who just lost Najee Harris, and they have
Yeah.
Hampton. And how great would that be for Hampton to learn from Kamara and be his
Hmm.
backup for a year or two, and then he can take the reins or whatever you have going on, and you might win the Super Bowl if you do it.
Yeah. It could be he could be a Saquon Barkley kind of Super
You
Bowl winning sign.
I'm telling you, you will not mind LA, Kamara. I bet you will
Mm.
not mind LA. Sam.
Plus the copyright that I could probably put down on Kamar Ball
Um,
is how many millions of dollars am I going to make off?
Probably a lot. I will get on the copyright and the trademarks, and we'll get that taken care of so that we get ownership.
Yeah. Word.
So yeah, that was my number two. There's no direction. They need more guys. So my
Yeah.
number one is the Miami Dolphins because they're the worst defense in football, because they're supposed to be one of the best offenses, but they're also one of the worst offenses in football.
Yeah.
They're towards the bottom. And coaching staff, they're the closest to having a coach fired, in my opinion. Um, they're the most discombobulated visually when you look at the players, the demeanor, the sadness and frustration. It is the most showing. They're the most look like combustible team in the league, and so they're number one. There's that's it. They're the worst team in football right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that argument, but I have the Saints there as the worst team in football.
Yeah,
Um, just kind of for the same reason you have Miami.
yeah,
There's just nothing there that tells you that these guys are trying.
hmm
I mean, New Orleans. New Orleans. It's not just an on the field product problem. It's an office problem. Their books are terrible. They're always below the cap. I mean, or above the cap, and they got to get that stuff figured out. And like you said, they're gonna have to sell the farm and just start over and go back to like the Archie Manning days of just bag heads and try to get it figured out. And they're going to have to go to like this low budget roster and just get some hungry players, you
yeah.
know, and that can make the difference. And then that can swing the momentum back to their favor. But I can't argue with having Miami down as the worst team either because it's for the same reason. I don't think Mike McDaniel's is the closest to get fired. I think that's actually Brian Daboll. Um, because Mike McDaniel's had at least a couple good solid years there. Daboll's had one good year, and to see them struggle like they have been doing,
I think Dart
it's just
gives
not
him more
good.
of a leash. It gives him more of a leash than
If he's
Rattler and
successful,
Tua.
if he does a good job,
Yeah,
then maybe, yeah, you're right about that. But he has to succeed, and I think if he doesn't have, I would say maybe by week 8, if they don't at least have 2 wins, then he might be gone.
maybe.
That's just what I think.
Maybe it is pretty disruptive to fire your coach when you're trying to work a young guy in, and
Hmm.
that's why I have the Saints at two for Rattler and Tyler Shue, and so you're just like you're trying not to be too disruptive to what's already a huge problem. So for the Giants, I just when you have a veteran team and you have certain expectations, or you think, yeah, I think we can make playoffs, and you're falling on your ass this bad, it just feels like McDaniel's definitely. I think he's probably been talked about the most as, oh, is he going to be fired? Um, I could see Dable, but there's a lot of promise in Dart, and even if Dart were to be bad, I just think that they would allow him to stick around towards just about the whole year. I put Dolphins at one based off of their on-field mannerisms. And the Giants, with Russ being benched, now I don't have to see those mannerisms of him just going
uh, yeah. It's
like
like
it.
those
Yeah, you're
slow
getting your ass
motion
kicked.
clips of Eli on the field, like,
It's not even
what
Eli,
happened?
but why did every giant quarterback have this weird meme face now? Like, I don't
I
understand.
don't know. It's definitely a thing.
Am I still in New York? Like, I don't know. Does it to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Bud, that's it. I mean, does it? Who strikes you as the best chance of your five? Who do you think will leave your bottom five? Who do you think has the best chance from yours?
I would say probably Houston, just because they're right there on the edge anyway.
Okay.
If they can figure it out, okay. As a Colts fan in the AFC South, I hope that their downward spiral continues. But you know, we got two AFC South teams in my bottom five,
Yes.
so I kind of want them to struggle. But it's not going to make me upset if they don't win a game at all.
Yeah.
But I would say it would have to either be the Texans or even the Titans would be have a good shot at coming out of this bottom five if they get it figured out.
Okay. I like my pick of the Giants because of the dart. I think you made all the right points. I think they're close. So if he's being electric, they're probably going to look really different, and everyone's going to go, "Holy crap." So I
Yeah,
can see it the most. Everyone else is just falling apart for me. I like the
yeah.
Giants.
If he can fling it and let it fly like he did at Ole Miss, they're going to be fine. And it would be funny to see another Ole Miss quarterback come out and bring the Giants out of mediocrity. That would be hilarious. But I think he could be electric. It could be exciting. So
Yes.
they got something to look forward to at least. And if he
Yeah.
doesn't pan out, then he doesn't pan out. It's fine. But my opinion personally, I think he's going to be all right. They're going to win some games.
I think so. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the show, the J and K show. We covered Monday Night Football, the top, the bottom. Um, that's it, man. We'll be here on Friday. We'll give you guys the Thursday Night Football recap. We'll give you our predictions for Sunday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The Real J and K Sports Show, the newest show. Don't want to miss it. See you guys.